Today we're going to be exposing myths about Deadlock Ranked, and I'll explain to you how it actually works using statistics. Now, I just got done watching a video that told me playing more ranked games is bad for my rank in Deadlock. This just simply isn't true. I will go through what they said and show you how it really works, very simply using the rank distributions. Here you can see the ranks, and we have data on 4 different weeks. What we're going to do is create a little Excel table and take a look at how they changed over time and then interpret those results. Here are the things that we know about ranked. 1. We know that the ranking algorithm considers your win-loss ratio. 2. We know that the ranking algorithm considers the performance of the people you win and lose against. 3. We know that matchmaking tries to keep you competitive, meaning it tries to push your win-loss ratio towards 50%. People on YouTube have been saying that this is a design flaw, and that means the more you play, the worse you will rank, because you will inevitably have a closer to 50-50 win-loss ratio. Is this true? Not at all, and it's actually pretty simple. So first, let me populate my Excel spreadsheet. Okay, now that I have done the manual work of getting all the data and made a graph out of it, we can pretty easily interpret it and see what's going on. I'll walk you through it. On the left, we have the percentage of players in rank. This is cumulative, so it means this percentage of players are at or below this rank. So on the left here in Initiate, we see in week 1, which is the lightest color, all the way to week 4, the darkest color. Same goes for the bar charts. In week 1, only 5% of players were Initiate or below. And by week 4, this was up to 11% of players that were in Initiate or below. On the right side, we have the absolute number of players in each rank. Turnus has stayed fairly stable with 572 in week 1 and 500 in week 4. We do see some drop-off across the middle ranks. The lower ranks actually have more in latter weeks than earlier weeks. This is what we would expect because as new players continue to enter their game, they're going to be starting at the lower ranks. What can we learn about how ranks have changed over time? Let's start with Initiate. We went from 5% to 11% between weeks 1 and 4. The percentage of players that are in the lowest rank doubled in 4 weeks' time. Next, let's move on to something more mid-level. Let's go Emissary. Similarly, in week 1, 45% of players were an Emissary. In week 2, 48%. So about a 3% increase in Emissary or below. These are all cumulative. In week 3, another similar jump to 51.7% that are Emissary or below. And then in week 4, this is only 53%, so a much smaller jump. This shows that as time has gone on, the ranks have stabilized. And what's the next obvious thing that we can see from this graph? As you go higher in the ranks, the more stable the percentage of players in that rank become. In week 1, 94.8% of people were Phantom or below. Another way of saying this is that 5.2% of people were above Phantom. In week 4, so it only went to 95. So 4.9% of people are above Phantom. It's a very small difference. What this means is that over time, the ranks have become more competitive. And this makes intuitive sense, because if someone ranks into Eternus in week 1, they are one of the best players, but their absolute level of skill in the game is only going to increase from there. So do they add more ranks on top? No. It just means that the ranks get more competitive. So similarly, if you're in Archon or Emissary in week 1, and then in week 4, you are still in Archon or Emissary, that does not mean that you have not improved. What it means is that you have improved at the same rate as the rest of the community in that rank. We're all getting better, But what it takes in a new game to rank up, if you're a lower rank, is getting better at a faster rate than those around you. Because if everyone's getting better, the new people coming in are inflating the lower ranks, and everyone in the higher ranks are getting better together. This is reflected in the gaps between each week here. They get narrower and narrower as you get higher in the skill range. Because someone who is initiate will improve much more in absolute terms than someone who is phantom. Because if you rank into phantom, you're already pretty good. Sure, there are things to learn and things to improve in, but not nearly as much to learn and to improve in as someone who's an initiate or a seeker. All right, now that we've seen all this, let's go back to what we know about ranked. 1. Rank is partially determined by win-loss. 2. The performance of the players that you win and lose against also affects your rank. If they win and lose their other games, that impacts you. If I win against an Archon player who goes on to win against an Oracle player, I get more MMR. If I win against an Archon player who goes on to lose against other Archon players, I get less MMR. In matchmaking, as you win, you get queued against higher skilled people. This prevents people from staying in an MMR that they're way too good for. Winning against people who are far less skilled than you does not say much about your skill, and thus cannot help them place you in the proper rank. You have to keep going until you find someone you are equal with, which means a 50% win-loss rate. Players are mostly all improving. The lower the rank and the newer the player, the more rapidly that they improve their skills relative to players who have already been playing for a while and their learning curve has evened off. So if you're someone saying, help, I keep getting better, but I'm not ranking up. Well, if you're in the very lowest ranks, perhaps you should be concerned. But if you're in a mid-rank or an upper rank, then what this likely means is that you are simply improving at the rate that everyone else is improving, as we know that these ranks are getting more and more competitive. You have to be better now to be an Archon in week 4 than you had to be in week 1. Relative to the other players in the game, you have to be better. This doesn't mean you need to play less ranked games to min-max your win-loss ratio. That will actually keep you from ranking up very high, because if you don't play enough games to start being queued with people above your rank to show that you can win there, you will not rank up. Do not listen to these people. They are coping because they don't understand how games that are in alpha work. They don't understand how competitive rank systems work, and they're simply upset that number not go up. Instead, you should just focus on improvement, and if you're not losing ranks, then you're improving with the rest of the community. If you're gaining ranks, that means you're improving faster than the community. As people come in later and later to the game, the ranks will be more and more stable. In other words, the skill ceiling won't be increasing as rapidly in week 20 as it is now. If you come in week 6 and you start improving, the other people who have been in the game for a while are not going to be improving that rapidly. You will see yourself rank up as you would normally expect, alongside your experience of your increase in skill. That's all. I hope it helps.